على قولتك.
Shubharani ma'am, kindly wait for a few minutes. Once I ask you to start, you can start, ma'am.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Yeah. Dear participants, very good evening. Sorry for the delay. Resource person having some technical issue. He will be joining in 2 or 3 minutes. We are supposed to start by on time. He is having some technical issue. So we will be for 2 more minutes and then we will start the event.
Okay, sir.
Sure, sir. No problem, sir.
Hello. Hello.
Can you see me? Yes, yes, I think you can see me. Can you hear me, sir?
Sir, you are clearly audible.
Okay, and you can see me also, right?
No. Only one of the madam photo we can see from the madam from Manipur.
But I think you will be able to see me also because I can see myself on the screen.
Yes, sir. Rahul,
can
sir.
see- I can
Rahul, sir,
see-
we are seeing you. We are watching you.
Okay, I
Okay,
can
okay,
see
okay,
Nirbhay Kumar
okay,
sir
maybe-
also. Okay, sir, just give me one. Would you like to do some introduction, and after that I can start the PPT?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are having a formal inaugural. Then we will give you time, sir.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. Subha ma'am, you can start, ma'am.
Okay, sir. A very good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all the distinguished guests, resource person, participants, and colleagues joining us from different parts of the world. On behalf of organizing committee, I, Dr. Kaisam Subarani Devi, Department of Chemistry, Standard College, organizing secretary, would like to extend a warm welcome to this international workshop on quantitative research methodology, tools, techniques, and applications. Now I invite Dr. Vinit Rajadurai, International Organizing Secretary, to deliver the warm welcome address. Over to you, sir.
Yes, thank you so much, ma'am. And now let me invite Dr. Vasudevan, sir, the founder and director of Integrated Institute of Disaster Management, to welcome the gathering.
Good evening, one and all. I am audible, sir. I am audible to you.
Yes, sir, you're audible, sir.
Yes,
You're audible.
it's very loud and clear.
Okay. Good evening to one and all. I'm very taking this great pleasure to welcome each and everyone for the today 10 days international workshop on hybrid mode. And great thankful to Dr. Bennett, who is organizing such a wonderful event globally, which is very, very reaching to unreaching places nowadays. Even today, we have inaugurated formally this program in Southfield College by our respected principal ma'am, and it was a very grand manner. So we are very happy to do this online mode also in a successful way. So I wish you all the participant and the panelists and all the dignitaries to have a nice evening. And I welcome you all for a wonderful program. Thank you. Thank you so much to each and everyone. Over to you, Dr. Banerjee. Thank you so much.
Yes. So thank you so much, Dr. Vasu sir, for welcoming the guest, and myself, Dr. Bennett, and I'm working as an assistant professor in Department of Sociology, Guru Nanak Institution, Chennai. Okay, and I am the secretary of this international research methodology workshop. And it is my great prestige and privilege to welcome you all, as well as I have to talk few words about the workshop, right? And myself, and we are from RC25 Sociology of Sports, Indian Sociological Society, New Delhi, which is RC25 Sociology of Sports, which was taken care by the convener, Professor Dr. Sanjay Tiwari Sarji, a pioneer in the field of sociology and sociology of sports, who has given us a great support to this entire process to start this event. It's a beautiful one, and we are very happy with what we have done, right? It's a hybrid mode conference, 10 days conference. It's 20 hours class with 10 international resource, national as well as international resource persons. So it will be a great learning experience for all of the participants, and we are very happy to say that people might think that we are doing this for money purpose. No, we are not money minded. Best example, let me tell you, we never charge any money for the persons with disability, and we are very happy to say this is the first time we got nearly about 75 registrations from persons with disability category. So let us appreciate ourselves. So requesting you all to send some emojis, some smileys, so that I also will come to know that you also acknowledging. Why? Because no, this is the way that we have to love everyone, we have to serve everyone. Because when I was doing my PhD in Annamalai University, I used to ask for various people, because I am the person from disability category. So whenever I used to ask them, they used to say, "Sir, there is no concession for yourself. You have to pay the full money." That time I made a decision. Days will come if one day I became a honest secretary. I never charge money for persons with disability. This is our 10th event. We never charge even single rupees for the people who belongs to disability category. Either it is a student or a faculty or a teaching or non-teaching, whatever it may be, we never charge any money. This shows they also need to come to the mainstream. And I'm really happy. Every time we used to have nearly about 10 to 12 10 to 20 participants. This is the first time we have reached the maximum target of 75 participants. So I was really happy for all the people, not only the people with the disability category alone. It is not about discriminating or telling someone that you don't have money. No, my concern is everyone has to come to the mainstream. And while talking about Sanjay Tiwari sir, he used to say, Bennett, don't charge more money, don't charge more money. So for the 10 days, we have taken only 600 rupees for students and 800 rupees for faculties, 80 rupees per day as well as 60 rupees per day. But the needs are plenty. And then we are doing this event in offline mode as well as online mode. And today the event has been beautifully inaugurated in the offline mode in Southfield College from the Department of Sociology as well as IQAC team members in Darjeeling. And we have remaining 2 more days in what was that in Tirunelveli also, Tenkasi JP College of Arts and Science. So long way to go. And we are very happy to welcome you again, people from Kanyakumari to Kashmir. And you have done the registrations, maximum registrations I can see from North India this time. Whenever we used to organize, we can see the maximum people from southern part like Kerala, Andhra, Karnataka. But this is the first time we are seeing the maximum participants from North India. So this shows that for education, there is no broader, but there is no borders as well as boundaries. People, those who are really interested, they are coming forward. I have to thank Professor Dr. Sanjay Tiwari sir for posting the brochure in Indian Sociological Society website. Through that, we got enough people in our plates, and we are happy to serve you. And dear participants, this event is for you. It is not for us, and this is not a platform for us to show that we know everything. No, no, the term education is a learning process, where learning comes from questioning and logical reasoning, right? And so the concern is, if you have any doubt, you are most welcome to ask. And we had a separate meeting as per the tutelage of Sanjay Tiwari sir, and under his guidance, we have kept a separate meeting for the resource persons also, how to take the classes for you, what that all should be done from the resource person side, and each and everything are going very systematically, right? And is really we are very happy to see you all this 10 days. Okay, the meeting will start by exact 6 o'clock, and we will be in by pakka 8 o'clock. We never take your time. Meanwhile, we also never waste our time because we are paying huge money for the resource person, and they also committed towards teaching. It is not about money based, it is about teaching based, right? And I love that concept given by Kofi Annan. The term education is a learning process, a great gentleman, and he told that whatever it may be, either we are a student or a scholars or a faculty members or a dean or professor associate, whatever it may be, remember one thing: the term education is a learning process, right? And through the learning process only we are day by day gradually developing ourselves. And now, without taking much time, let me invite Dr. Shubharani ma'am to introduce Professor Dr. Sanjay Tiwari sir to give the inaugural address. Over to you, Shubharani ma'am.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Professor Sanjay Tiwari, as an honorary professor, Russian Academy of Social and Fundamental Science, Moscow. Professor Sanjay Tiwari is an eminent academic and sports sociologist with a distinguished career in teaching, research, and professional engagement in the field of sociology of sports. He is teaching, research, and professional engagement in the field of sociology. Currently served as an honorary professor at the Russian Academy of Social and Fundamental Science, Moscow. He is also the chairperson of the Sports, Leisure, and the Body Division of the Society for the Study of Social Problems, University of Tennessee, Doggerville, USA. Professor Tiwari has held several leadership positions in the national and international academic bodies. He is the convener of RC25 Sociology of Sports of the Indian Sociological Society from 2024 to 25 and has also served as a managing committee member from 2018 to 2023 of the Indian Sociological Society. His involvement with the professional association extends globally as he is a member of the North American Society for the Study of Sports. In addition to his academic contribution, Professor Tiwari has a strong background in the sports administration and technical officiating. He served as a national technical official at the International Paralympic Committee, born in 2010, reflecting his active engagement in promoting inclusive sport. With a unique combination of academic expertise and practical involvement in the sport, Professor Tiwari continues to contribute significantly to advancing the sociology of sports both in India and abroad. Now, I request Sir to deliver the inaugural speech. Over to you, sir.
Good evening, everybody. I thank all the scholars today, teachers or students or whosoever has joined today in making this 10 days research methodology workshop a success. Let me start by contributing and saying thanks to the Southfield College, Darjeeling. Uh, Basically, the JP College of Arts and Commerce in the Tamil Nadu, and naturally the Standard College Manipur. And Manipur Standard College has always been a part of our research methodology workshops. It is not this. This is not a workshop of first of its kind. One, two, three. This is the fourth big workshop which is being conducted under the aegis of the research committee on sociology of sports. Then, as far as the our collaborations is concerned, the Southeastern University of Olive, Sri Lanka. Let me thank the dean also. Professor Nijamir will also be with us over here. In the forthcoming 10 days, you will have an opportunity to listen to the international perspective also as far as the research methodology is concerned. And naturally, the Indian Institute of Disaster Management in Tamil Nadu, who also have been doing a great work as far as conducting of this research methodology workshop is concerned. Friends, I thank once again all of you because behind conduction of such sort of a workshop, at times we do face some technical issues also. No, but I was there, always available, and as Dr. Bennett has rightly said, he was also there. His technical team was also there to assist anybody of you as far as some technical glitches are there, are concerned over there. Now, as far as this 10 days time is concerned, I'll not take a lot of time because it will be thus eating in your time only, that valuable time only for our resource persons. Basically, you gain the practical skills. This is number one. Second is that you will try to learn some statistical tools also. Maybe people from economics, maybe here, maybe statistics also. But let me tell you one thing that as far as the other domain of social sciences is concerned, the technique of a statistical tools is being used a bit sort of a, you can say, with hesitation. So this 10 days workshop, we have very good faculty. I'll just let you know who all will be there to guide you through these 10 days, 2 hours per day in the evening, because it's a very casual and a very great time when you people are back to your places and in a relaxed mood also with a hot cup of tea or a coffee. And then you can simply, with your pen and pencils, you can enjoy the lectures also and then note down the important points also. And as per the previous practices also, we have been putting these lectures on the various social media also, and also for the facilitation of all and everybody concerned. On demand, we give these lectures to the candidates also. This is two. Third is that at the end of the session, naturally, you will be allowed to put up some questions. What I will say one thing, that please don't try to disturb in between. You just try to note down your points or whatever it is, and then we can try uh, to take the deliberations further at the end of the lecture. So when you will try to get some hand-on tools as far as the statistical applications are concerned, they will try to connect you with the real world applications. And naturally, since I'm a person from the field of sociology, I look after a very big research committee with the Indian Sociological Society. So that is why I basically know that what the term of social networking means from all of us. Bennett has and his team has been working day and day out, you know, and kudos to him and his entire team also. Divagar is also there. So you people have been doing an exemplary job. I do hope that you people are all within us. So if in case there have been some technical issues, we can address these also. Now the basically topic of this 10 days research methodology workshop will be to take you through a journey of whether it is the quantitative techniques or the qualitative measures or some sort of a literature reviews, the how to just present your findings, how to go for the conclusions, how to insert the technical tools over here. We will be having something on the Excel spreadsheets also. So we have very good faculty members such as Professor Ambati Rao will be also joining us late someday between these 10 days. And we have Shobna, you can say Sarvaraji also. She will be also putting up some very pertinent questions. As far as today's lecture is concerned, you will be trying to hear of Dr. Rahul Kapoor and also Shibi. Shibi is a very great scholar, and you will be very glad to hear these two persons today. We have Professor Vasanthi Williams here. We have Shobana Ji Salvaraj over here. We have Dr. Sebati Malik from Odisha also here. Dr. Ambati Rao from Gujarat National Law University. Dr. Norby Paul. Dr. Mohammed Shahid Ali. Dr. Nijamir also, and Professor Fazil Dean. These two persons will be trying to give you a perspective, rather international perspective from the Southeastern University, Olivier, Sri Lanka also. So, gentlemen and ladies, A warm welcome to all of you. We are already 20 minutes into the session. I just now will try to hand over this uh, this to the organizers so that they can basically go ahead and try to take up the session a session even further. Thank you very much all for this cooperation. I look forward to such of a cooperation in the future days also. And naturally, every program, everything has some of the shortcomings also. I will be looking forward to a very constructive analysis of the program for which you will be required and requested to give your feedback also. Thank you, Bennett. It is yours now. You may please proceed with our faculty. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So thank you so much, Professor Dr. Sanjay Tiwari, sir, for giving the inaugural address. And now let me invite Professor Dr. Fazil, sir, Dean Faculty of Arts and Culture, Southeastern University of Olapil, Sri Lanka. And followed by, we are having the technical session 1. Dear participants, day 1 as well as day 2, we will be having 2.5 hours because half an hour we have taken for the inaugural session. So remaining 2 hours will be having a proper class. The day 10 also, the same thing. 6 to 8 will be having the session and 8 to 8:30 will be having the inaugural session. Sorry, valedictory address. Over to you, Fazil, sir.
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Bennett. And alongside Dr. Bennett, Dr. Subbarani Devi also, moderating our session today. This is, to me, it is very good evening today because, with wide audience and the prominent scholars in India, alongside with my colleague from Sri Lanka, Dr. Nijamir, I'm participating in this online program in this evening. So that is why I'm so happy about it. And when we look at these members of participating in this session today, particularly Professor Dr. Sanjay Tiwari, and who did our inaugural address today. This is the person is, organizer of the Russian Academy of Social and Fundamental Science, Moscow. And he is the prominent personality in sociology of sport and sociological sport organization also. And along with these members and our another important member, Dr. Vasudevan, our Divagar, Segar, and other professors also joining with us. Particularly, I should talk some aspect from our side. You see, these workshops' theme is quantitative research methods, tools, techniques, and applications. Resonates deeply with the core of modern academic inquiry. In a world increasingly driven by data, that is what we all know. Today, this world moving towards AI and data science. The former, prominent personality in Microsoft company, chair and the person who found Microsoft company, he said that in this world, health sector and education sector will captured by AI and data science. So that is what is going to happen in this world. So we are now talking about collection of data, data science, and utilizing those data for findings and research and publications. Particularly, this ability to collect, analyze, and interpret quantitative information is quantitative information is no longer a specialized skill reserved for a few disciplines. It is a fundamental literacy for every serious scholars today. In Southeastern University, you see at my faculty of Arts and Culture, we developed very nicely with qualitative study and contributed to existing knowledge in the way of qualitative studies. But what we found from the world scenario today and in our region, the mostly researchers are now concentrating on quantitative study. rather than working on qualitative. That is why we are the people from the field of social sciences and humanity. From our faculty, we are now open the door for our academic staff and students to work out on the field of qualitative plus quantitative. Because this quantitative studies always providing scientific knowledge and providing venue to publish our research articles and the chapters in Q1 and Q2 journals. So for that opportunity, so when we also switch to this kind of quantitative studies, our staff and students also can get opportunity. So that is why we change our work towards quantitative study. What I have learned from the perspective of international academia, so international academic community, they are working hard to promote quantitative studies in their countries. And they have succeeded in publication and contribute to the existing knowledge through the way of contributing and publishing in reputed journals, and they are doing many things. In that way, now, the country, India, this is in the world economy. This is the third place in the world big economy. After the particular country like, United States and China, their first and second, third biggest economy is India. And it has a very good resource, that a human resource. It's a human resource and the hard-working ability of Indian people brought them for a second place in world economy. And this India also facing challenges to promote their academic activities in the research field. That is why I have learned that the perspective of Indian Education Ministry and the University Grants Commission, they rearranged or refurbished their educational policy in 2020. After a while, University Grant Commission to almost all universities in Indian all states and the colleges available under this state and the private universities and private colleges, they nicely instructed so many things to promote the research in their universities. Particularly in 2025, this UGC of India very clearly informed to the academia of Indian universities and institutions to promote PhD scholars, and now the place for the more opportunity for employment. Now Indian government and UGC encouraging to provide the opportunity to PhD holders. Like this, I can talk too much, but this is not a time to talk too much. So that is why what I have found in our region, these Indian universities and academics and colleges, particularly for Sri Lankan, us, you and your UGC and your university system provided a lot of knowledge for us. Not only that, you see, when we face a big challenge after a while of COVID-19, we face a big challenge, that economic challenges, issues we face, and we were marked as a kind of bankrupt country. What we found? Our big neighbor or big sister, the regional power, this Indian, provided us about 4 billion amount of money and other supporting facilities to purchase our day-to-day needs. So with that, what the Sri Lankan, as a Sri Lankan, I found that we are also should go in the line of our Indian brothers and sisters, because they provided their own money. All household people supported Sri Lanka to uplift us for our survival. So with that note, what we are trying to do, we are also trying to follow the Indian system. In that way, your UGC is promoting the research. And if we need to promote the research, we should concentrate on qualitative research as well. For that way, we are also taking part with you all in this 10 days workshop with these prominent people. Remember that research is not a solitary pursuit. It is a collaborative process. The connection you make here, the ideas you exchange, and the networks you build will be as valuable as the technical skills you acquire. Let this workshop also be a tribute to those pioneering as a participant in this forum today, who will pave the way for us, and let it inspire all of us, men and women alike, to build a research culture that is inclusive, rigorous, and transformative. I mean, particularly, this is my final note. Today in Darjeeling of South Bengal at College of Southfield, we started offline mode of the research activities and impart our knowledge. It is also very successfully we have concluded just before a while. And finally, thank you once again for this opportunity. I wish you all a highly productive and enriching workshop. May your work contribute significantly to the collective knowledge of humanity. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for the beautiful words, enriching words from Southeastern University of O-Level Sri Lanka. Now, without taking much time, let me directly go to the resource person. Now, let me invite Dr. Kaishtam Shubharani Devi ma'am to introduce resource person 1.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Rahul Kapoor is a national and international awardee. He is an assistant professor, Department of Social Work, Gautam Buddha University, and program coordinator, Department of Social Work, Gautam Buddha University, European Parliament, Sakharov Fellow, and author of Feminist and Ferocious Women Student Activists in Contemporary India in the year 2023. And he is the author of Women and Work, The Sky is Full of Sexism in the year of 2021. And he is PhD Gender Study in Jamia Millia Islamia, and his MPhil Gender Studies in Jamia Millia Islamia, and Master in the Social Work, Delhi University, and he is a gold medalist at BJMC MIT University and silver medal, and he declared UGC, NET, and GRF social work qualified in the year of 2018. And he published many journals and articles in the international and the national journal. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, everyone. So first of all, thanks a lot to all the esteemed dignitaries for their enlightening words and starting this conference, for encouraging all the participants and the resource persons. So for making this conference, a workshop on research methodology and quantitative research, a huge success. So I really want to thank everyone. So Professor Bennett Rajadurai, everybody who spoke, people from the Indian Sociological Society. So just give me a second. I want to share my screen so that I'll be covering introduction to quantitative research today. So I'll be keeping this topic because it is an inaugural session. So I'll also keep it light, and I would want that at least in the beginning, everybody would get an idea what actually quantitative research is. So just give me a second. Let me try and share my screen, and then I'll ask you all if my screen is visible or not.
Yes, sir. It's visible, sir.
Okay, so my screen is visible now. I'll also move it up and down. Just let me know that if you can see it. So for example, right now you all can see the introduction to quantitative research, first slide.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Can you see the second slide now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So a very good evening to everyone, especially the participants who have joined so that they can enhance their knowledge on this very important topic, quantitative research today. So I want to greet you all, as ma'am has already given a brief introduction of mine. So basically, I'm an assistant professor in the Department of Social Work, School of Humanities and Social Sciences, Gautam Buddha University. Bennett Raju sir, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. You're audible.
So,
We are okay, sir.
So there's a request, just take a screenshot of the whole thing so that we can use it later. Okay, sir. Hello, Bennett Raju sir, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We have taken, sir. We have taken.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So basically, I'll begin with a very basic question for today. What is basically quantitative research? So quantitative research is a method of research. Quantitative research is basically a method of research which deals with numbers and numerical data to explore, describe, explain, or predict trends of a phenomenon. So when we talk about numbers, there can be a lot of variables to it. For example, age is a number. So if we say impact of age on the energy levels of a child, let's see what is the impact of 4 years of age, 6 years of age, 8 years of age. So we are talking about specific numerical data. And when we talk about numerical data, this what implies in quantitative research. So it is about numbers. The second and very important point is that quantitative research emphasizes objectivity. Now, what is objectivity and what is subjectivity? Subjectivity is basically when you see a particular thing from different perspectives. For example, suppose we are talking about abuse, sexual abuse. It's a subjective concept. So a lot of people can have a lot of connotations about sexual abuse, right? Somebody can count physical harassment also in sexual abuse. Somebody can count verbal inappropriate behaviors also in sexual abuse. But when we talk about blood pressure, everybody will have the same connotation of blood pressure. Okay, when we talk about body temperature, everybody will have the same connotation of body temperature. This is one of the reasons also that quantitative research is used a lot in medical research. So this is what objectivity means. One specific perception about a concept. The second is and the control of contextual factors that may impact the result. What are contextual factors? Like, for example, again, I gave you about the age and energy levels. Suppose a contextual factor is about the quantity of a medicine. Suppose when we administer 5 mg of a particular medicine, say paracetamol, then it brings down our temperature levels by say 2 degree Fahrenheit or 1 degree Celsius, something like that. Suppose we increase that quantity, so the impact would be different. So this is called contextual factors, something which we control. Now, quantitative research states hypotheses and relies on statistical analysis to support conclusions made regarding the hypothesis. Now, what is hypothesis? Hypotheses are basically assumptions or predictions that we make about a research. Okay. For example, if we say certain quantity of medicine is likely to lower down the temperature of our body by 3 degrees Fahrenheit. This is the hypothesis. Now, what we do, we test it. How do we test it? By having participants, research participants, whom we also call respondents, and then administering this medicine to them so that they understand that whether the temperature of the body is coming down or not. So who are these people? These are the respondents. Okay, what are the contextual factors, variables? The medicines and the temperature. So we'll move to the next slide. What are the various reasons for which we conduct quantitative research? So it can be a lot of reasons. Okay, for example, one can be exploratory. Now, what does exploratory research does? So basically, it investigates issues with the goal of providing insights and information to the researcher. One of the best examples of exploratory research is the initial trials of COVID vaccine which happened. So now that was not done on the entire population. That was not done on the entire population of India. Okay, it was kind of a pilot study. If you remember back then during COVID times, AIIMS took out an ad in the newspaper that how many people want to volunteer, okay, and come and basically be a part of the testing of COVID vaccine, exploration. So we are trying to explore the results of COVID vaccine on a population, okay, on a particular population, very small. We cannot go very big because there can be negative effects also. And then once the exploratory results come out, and for example, we are only trying to test whether the vaccine is safe and has no side effects. That comes, so then we administer it to the larger population. Now, when that happens, that becomes description, or what we say, descriptive research. So that describes the current situation or classifies situations. So it often uses large-scale data sets. Example of that can be impact of COVID vaccine on associated health parameters. Now the exploratory part has been done, the COVID vaccine trials has been done. Now we are talking about the descriptive part. So that is the impact of COVID vaccine on associated health parameters. Okay, so what happens in the case of associated health parameters? Now, our entire population of India, say, has been vaccinated. Now we want to do a research. That's, if you remember that time, there were two vaccines. One was Covaxin and one was Covishield. Suppose we want to understand what are the associated health parameters or health related issues basically experienced by people who took Covaxin. And then we say the same thing about those who took Covishield. So then we are describing the characteristics of a population related to their associated health parameters. So I hope I am audible and you all can understand. The next is...
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, sir. The next is explanation. Okay. So basically, we also use quantitative research to test theories, to enrich and explain theories. Suppose, for example, we take a case in which we talk about the dropout rates of women in government schools. And a research is done and it is found out that 60-70% of women students are dropping out in government schools which have, say, shoddy or bad washroom facilities. Now, what is the reason for this? You have come to a conclusion. Now, when you come to a conclusion, there are so many theories. For example, we have one of the theories called ecological system theory, in which the person cannot be seen in isolation. So suppose if the person is making a decision, okay, and we see the ecological systems theory, then the decision of those girls is not taken in isolation. It is impacted by their educational environment, by their legal environment, by their political environment. So for example, in education environment, if they do not have washrooms and they have reached their puberty and they find it difficult to manage their days during their menstrual cycle and they decide to drop out, so we are able to understand that how basically a theory is being applied and how it is actually making an impact on the life of those students. The next is prediction. So you establish predictors of some behaviors. Now, how is that done? It is done using two types of variables, dependent and independent. First, we'll understand what is a variable. So variable is anything, an abstract concept which can be measured. For example, age, can we measure age? Right, we can measure age. Can we measure weight? Yes, we can measure weight. Can we measure height? Yes, we can measure height. Can we measure satisfaction levels? Yes, if we have developed a proper scale of research, we can develop, basically measure satisfaction levels. Can we measure stress levels? Absolutely, yes, we can do that if we have developed a proper scale. So now let's talk about what is a dependent variable and what is an independent variable. So dependent variable is basically that abstract concept which is going to be affected by another variable which is independent variable. For example, if we talk about age, age is an independent variable. It is not affected by anything. It will never happen that if the stress levels of two students is the same and though both of them are 4 years old, it will never happen that the one who has a highest stress level will automatically become 5 years old. Never. So age is the independent variable. What is the dependent variable? For example, if you see this diagram which I have made, suppose we are talking about a treatment. Dependent variable here is blood pressure. Independent variable is low dose of the new medication. So we see no change in blood pressure. High dose of the new medication, we see blood pressure is lowered. Third is placebo. Placebo is when we give a false medication. So for example, if you have fever and somebody doesn't know it, suppose a child or somebody who is coming from a specific place does not know that what is the medication of fever, and they have fever, and I decide to give them, for example, any tablet, say Hajmola or Strepsils, and I tell, after that we try to measure their fever again. So we are giving them a sham medicine. In all probability, their fever is not going to change. So when we talk about placebo, there is no change in blood pressure. So we can now understand low dose of the new medication, no change in blood pressure. So high dose means we manipulated the independent variable. Now the blood pressure is lowered. And then when we again manipulated the independent variable, made it placebo, then again, no change in blood pressure. Okay. I'll take just 30 seconds. Important call is coming. I'll just rejoin. Just pardon me for 30 seconds. Hi everyone. So you can hear me, right? I'm back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So till now we have understood the reasons for quantitative research. Now a very important part which we need to understand. What are the types of quantitative research? That becomes very important. One is the survey research. So this is one basically method of quantitative research which has been used for time and decades. So basically this is the most common form and has always been used. So what does survey research does? So survey research collects quantitative data to address questions about the current state of a population or phenomena. So this is what survey research does. So it conducts survey. So for example, a new product has come in the market. So for example, if we see these days, a new cola brand has come in the market, Campa Cola, which is coming for rupees 10. And when we compare it to, for example, say Pepsi or Thumbs Up, which is coming at a higher cost, we want to understand that what is the attitude and preference of, suppose, a particular population of a city or a region, say north or south, towards that particular drink. So I'll tell you also. It is a very good example. Basically, I know that a lot of students have joined, a lot of participants have joined from the south. And so I want to tell you that I have also taught in the south, in Madras School of Social Work in Chennai. So if you see in the south, there is this drink called Goti Soda. So basically, you will see that that drink is available in every confectionery shop. But the same is not in the case in north. So if we do a survey research about the attitudes and preferences of people about that drink, about a particular drink in the south, so preferred drink that would come out would be Goti Soda. But in the north, the preferred drink that would come out would be, say, Coke or Pepsi. So how we are doing it? We are conducting quantitative data, okay, which can be quantified. So for example, we are asking, which drink do you like more? Goti Soda, Coke. Do you drink Goti Soda? Yes. So if it is yes, it becomes a 1, quantify. We quantify that number. Okay. Then at the end, we go, okay, so suppose we got 10,000 positive responses for Goti Soda. We got 200 responses for Coke. So now we understand that in the south, the preferred drink is, through the survey method of quantitative research, Goti Soda. Now, the second, correlational research. So as the name itself suggests, correlational research means relation between two variables. What is the impact of one variable on the other variable? Suppose we talk about work timings. That is one of the variable. And we talk about stress levels. So can we establish a relation that those who are working for, say, example, 10 hours in a day, their stress levels is this. Those who are working 8 hours a day, suppose in the same industry, their stress levels is this. Those who are working 4 hours a day, their stress levels are this. And through this, we will establish a relationship. That suppose those who are working 4 hours a day, their stress level is less. Those who are working 8 hours a day, their stress level is more. So this is how we do correlational research. Next is causal comparative research. To establish a cause or reason for a behavior or other phenomena after the event or the cause has already occurred. So as I said, it involves an independent and dependent variable relationship. So which I was trying to explain you before, that the quantity of the medicine is becoming the cause and the effect is blood pressure. So causal comparative. The moment we change the quantity of the medicine, the blood pressure changes. We can compare it. Okay. So that is how we do it. Now, experimental research. Now, this is very important. Why? Because it uses a collection of research design that uses one or more variable that are manipulated to understand the effect on a dependent variable. So suppose we are talking about sleep and we take a control group. Okay, so we have taken respondents who are sleeping for say 8 hours every night. Okay, and then we allow them to do it for 30 days and then we give them an exercise. This exercise can be anything. This can be a quiz, this can be a reasoning exercise. Okay, this can be anything which requires your focus, because we are trying to establish that what is the relationship between focus and the sleep which you are getting. So that becomes a control group. Now we can also have at the same time one more group, okay, which is getting 6 hours of sleep. So both these groups as control groups are working. So that is why more than one variables. We are tracking their sleep. So when we measure one side of the sleep in the form of a variable, that is coming 6 hours. But the other side, that is coming 8 hours. And then we give the same exercise to both the control groups. Experimental research. This is what we are doing. This is a kind of, because this is mostly used in science also, a lot of things are controlled through chemicals. So that is where it gets its name, experimental research. Last is action research. Now, action research is basically that while you are conducting your research, you are also trying to address a phenomenon. So what can be that? For example, again, I'll go to in the north region, suppose we are trying to change the eating habits of people, how they consume junk food. So we talk to them, we conduct a survey with them that how many of people are eating chips, or how many people in a particular area having cold drink. And then we realize that it has certain connection. Okay, suppose to their spending power, suppose to their socioeconomic strata, suppose to the region in which they are staying. And then when we understand that, okay, people from this region are specifically having Coke more or Pepsi more. So then we plan an intervention, okay, in that area while we are on that research. Okay, so for example, we measure their weights. Are they obese? Are they having any sickness related to the consumption they are making? And then we sensitize them about how something which is happening in a different region is giving different results, more healthier results. But something which is happening in this region is giving different results. So that is what we call action research. So now, what are the characteristics of quantitative research? Now, when we have understood the methods of quantitative research, we have understood what it actually means, basically researching with numbers. What are some characteristics of quantitative research? So the foremost important characteristics is that it has a representative sample. So when we are doing survey of the northern region of India, or suppose when we are doing survey of Delhi, then our sample cannot be that we are only taking some particular regions in Delhi. We have to prepare our sample in a way that it is representative of the population. And what is the population? Every individual unit that we are trying to research. So suppose if we were trying to research the impact of COVID vaccine on associated health factors in males above 45 years in Delhi, then if we need to have a representative sample, then we need to ensure that we are also picking our sample from South Delhi, we are picking it from East Delhi, we are picking it from West Delhi, we are picking it from North Delhi. We are also taking the samples from, for example, people who have a higher income group, people who have a lower income group. So that, because what we are measuring is impact of COVID vaccine on males above 45. So our sample will be representative only when we'll have males of this age group from all regions, from all classes, from all socioeconomic strata. So one is that the sample is representative. So for example, if I come to the conclusion that the population in the south, so for example, if I come to the conclusion that the population in Tamil Nadu prefers goti soda more over Coke, then this sample has to be representative. It has to have people from all cities of Tamil Nadu. So we'll have to make certain criteria to make sure our sample is representative. We cannot suppose go in a particular location in Tamil Nadu and say, okay, we surveyed all the shops here and it is goti soda, so it is goti soda. No, we have to make the sample representative. The second characteristics is manipulation and control of variables. So the researcher manipulates, for example, increases or decreases the variables that can affect the research study. So I've told you that in quantitative research, we can control the variables. Okay, there will always be a dependent variable, right? And there will be an independent variable. So we can always control the variable. For example, the example which I was giving of a particular group which is sleeping for 8 hours. That is a control group. We are manipulating the variable. We are manipulating the sleep cycle and then trying to understand the effects and impacts. The third is structured and standardized tools. So basically, quantitative research uses structured and standardized tools. Now, what is a structured tool? Suppose we are taking a questionnaire. So the questionnaire has to be a close-ended one. Okay, it cannot be a open-ended questionnaire. So it will have questions like your age, okay, your height, your weight. What is a standardized tool? Suppose we are using particular scales, which are used a lot, suppose in psychological research, even in social work research, they are used a lot. So the tools are standardized. You can use the same structured questionnaire when you're talking about preferences about, say, a particular drink in South. You can use the same structured questionnaire in the North also. Close end. We cannot have a question like, how do you feel about a particular drink? But we can have a question like, how much do you like a particular drink? Very much, average, below average, dislike. So one of the close-ended answer has to be ticked. So these are some of the characteristics. The others are that quantitative research is reliable and valid. Now, what is a reliable research? A reliable research is basically a research which can be repeated to provide similar results. For example, and what is validity? Validity is the means and methods and tools which we are using to conduct that particular research. So for example, I try to understand the number of child marriages happening in particular villages in Haryana. And after conducting that research through, for example, structured questionnaires or through structured interviews, I come to the conclusion that the trend of child marriages happening in certain villages in Haryana is high. Now, suppose if I will use the same structured questionnaire, same methodology approach, and go and use it, for example, in a village of Rajasthan, there are chances that I'll get similar results. But if I use it in Kerala, there are chances that I might not get similar results. Why? Because of the other variables which are in play there. For example, educational levels. For example, literacy rate. So it is done in a context. If the context is similar, then the quantitative research will always be reliable and valid. So that is why the study is accurate and valid as it is carried out using standardized structures. Now, generalization. So when we talk about quantitative research, we make a certain sort of a generalization. Okay, how do we do it? Suppose I took a population which was huge in size. So example, population of entire Delhi, which is crores in number. But I've selected my sample in a way that it is representative. Okay. And my result are coming that pollution in Delhi is leading to respiratory problems amongst Delhiites. So now those results, even if in the population of crores, I have taken suppose only 5,000, those results must be generalized. That no matter somebody coming from any socioeconomic strata living in any part of the Delhi is having some respiratory issues or is having some negative impact of pollution on them. So this is what generalization means. When you generalize the findings of a larger, when you generalize the findings to a larger population, because you have basically collected a representative sample from that population. Now we'll talk about sampling in quantitative research. So this is an important thing. How do we actually do sampling? First of all, you all understand what sampling is. Basically, sampling is collecting your set of respondents from a larger population, which is everyone who you want to research or who are your basically respondents. Now in probability sample, so what is probability? So we have all basically studied probability, basic probability maths, okay? In our school days, what is probability? If I flip a coin, what is probability that I will get tails? 50%. What is the probability that I'll get heads? Why? Because there can be actually two outcomes, right? And I will get one out of the two outcomes. So 1 out of 2 is what? 50%. So that is what we call probability. So when we know that what our outcome could be, that is probability. When I know that there are 25% chances of my selection, suppose if I apply in a particular place, there are 30%, there are 50%. So what is probability sampling and how it is done? So in this method, random selection is used to ensure that the sample represents the population accurately and to reduce bias. Each member of the population has an equal and independent chance of being selected. Now, how we do that? You must have heard about lottery method, most popular method of simple random sampling. So suppose I'll see how many participants are there right now in this 295. Now suppose there is one way that I can see some of the participants in front of me. For example, I can see Abhay, I can see Amandeep Kaur, I can see Dipanita. Okay, I can just ask them to unmute your mic and tell me what all have I taught till now, or tell me the gist of what all I have taught till now. Now, is that basically a form of simple random sampling? No. That is another form of sampling, convenience sampling, because I can see Dipanita, so I can just ask her, request her to unmute her mic. But
Sir,
suppose,
can I ask the question, sir? I have a doubt. Hello?
ma'am, you can basically at the end of the, you can write your questions, you can ask at the end of the.
Dear participants, sorry for the interruption. So once the presentation is done, there is a separate session called interactive session. Definitely, we will give you time to ask you questions. Over to you, sir.
So suppose in simple random sampling, suppose I can see 294 participants in front of me right now. Okay. And beforehand, I have a jar in front of me which has chits of name with these 295 participants. Okay. So now when I pick a particular name from that jar, that is called simple random sampling. And it is very important because whenever we are doing quantitative research, it becomes imperative that we are doing probability sampling. So there can be a lot of methods to do probability sampling, but the preferred method while we are doing quantitative research, it has to be probability sampling and not non-probability sampling, in which the chances of selection of the sample is unknown. So the chances of the selection of the sample has to be known. Next is systematic sampling. So basically selecting every kth element from the population list after choosing a random starting point. Okay, so suppose now I have a population size of say 10,000 households. Okay, and I have to basically my sample size is, for example, 100. So 10,000 divided by 100. So every 100 household I will select.
Sir, your slide is not moving.
Okay, okay. Is it moving now? Systematic sampling, can you see?
No, no, no.
Okay.
Just the initial one. Oh, okay, okay. Coming, sir.
Now it is moving?
It's moving. It's moving.
Okay, okay.
Yes, sir.
Great.
It's moving.
So when we choose every nth number, so population size upon sample size, that is systematic sampling. Next is stratified sampling. So the population is divided into subgroups, strata, based on certain characteristics, and random samples are taken from each stratum. Okay, suppose I am doing a research on employees, okay, on employee satisfaction level, and I divide the departments of the organization. For example, one is HR, one is IT, one is management, okay. And then from each strata, I try to take some participants, respondents. Why do I try to do that? I try to do that so that my sample becomes representative. I have people from basically every department of the organization. Get it? The other is cluster sampling. So in cluster sampling, the population is divided into clusters, usually based on geography or natural groupings, and entire clusters are randomly selected. So for example, randomly selecting schools in a city and surveying all students within those schools. So suppose I have to understand the implementation of Right to Education Act in North Delhi district. Now, what do I do? Because North Delhi district has a lot of schools. So I make clusters. So I divide the district into wards or blocks. And from every block, I try to select one school or two schools. And then I survey all the students within the school. So please understand, who is my respondent here? Who is my sample unit here? Sample unit is the school students. But how I am reaching to my sample unit is through randomly selecting a school. So basically, these are some of the important points when we talk about introduction about quantitative research, that you understand these are the basic concepts which you should know, that we are dealing in number. But when we talk about quantitative research, we can only understand it in the perspective of qualitative research. So we also have to understand what is qualitative research, because then only we understand what is quantitative research. And the same goes for the other side also. So just for the benefits of the participants who have joined us, I also made a slide in which we can understand and compare what is the difference between quantitative and qualitative research. And this is a very important question also that always comes, that what is the difference between quantitative and qualitative research. So in quantitative research, the goal is to measure. While in qualitative research, the goal is to feel. We are not specifically measuring anything. We are taking unique narratives. We are exploring. Okay, so goal is to feel what is happening. Here, the goal is to measure. So this articulates what, how often, how many. So what is happening, how often is happening, how many, because all these are numbers. And that articulates why, how is the phenomena happening, when is the phenomena happening. Quantitative research is considered objective. So for example, I gave you the example of age. Okay, so there is a particular perception about age. Okay, it's objective. Height, objective. Okay, but health Is health objective? Health is subjective. For somebody else can be healthy. For somebody, maybe some other body type person can be healthy. The third is it uses numerical data to get statistics, theories, facts, benchmarking, and measurement. And this uses descriptions and observations to understand reasons, opinions, motivations, and mindsets. Quantitative research uses highly structured methods of data collection, like I told you about, structured questionnaires, structured interviews. Qualitative can use unstructured data collection. For example, focus group discussions. For example, wall narratives. For example, in-depth interviews. Quantitative research, because I said that it is generalizable and representative of the sample, then it is very important that the sample is large in size. Suppose if I have to study North Delhi as a district, I cannot go for 5 or 10 samples. But in qualitative research, you can actually go for 1 sample and you can conduct your research. So suppose we are talking about an acid attack victim of domestic violence, we can basically document their unique experience, not generalizable to the larger population. Through 1 sample, we can conduct a research. But quantitative research, because it's generalizable, representative of the sample, it needs a much larger sample size. Again, this can be measured precisely. It cannot be measured. Even observation will be subjective. Okay, so suppose I am telling 10 people to observe a building and I'm telling 10 people to observe Taj Mahal. Even that observation will be subjective. Somebody will see the beauty, somebody might see the stains which are occurring on Taj Mahal. So this one produces data, useful information for decision making. Okay, so now suppose when I know that a particular drink is preferred in South, because my research is reliable and valid, I can also try to basically market those drinks in other regions of South, right? If I know that a particular type of food is preferred in North, I can actually market it in other regions of North because my research is reliable and valid. While qualitative research goes into deeper understanding of research topic or objectives, which you can also say, I'll say that goes into unique experiences. Okay, so qualitative research believes every small experience is unique and constitutes to the body of knowledge. While quantitative research believes in quantifying common experiences and using it for the well-being of the population, for helping people. It is basically used in market research, it is used a lot, management research used a lot, medical research used a lot. But suppose we talk about social sciences, it is not that quantitative research is not used, but qualitative research is the preferred one to go when we talk about qualitative social sciences. So that's it. With this, I come to the end of my presentation. So I have tried to be brief and give you the basic concepts, sticking to my topic of introduction to quantitative research. And you all are free to ask any questions. And obviously,
hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, is there any difference simple random sampling and random sampling?
Is there any difference between
simple random sampling and random sampling?
No. There is no difference as such. Basically, random sampling can also have for example, systematic random sampling, stratified random sampling. But when we talk about, so it has some, I would say, branches. So random sampling is the larger head in that. Simple random sampling coming, stratified random sampling is coming. Random word is being used for one simple reason. That is that the selection of the sample is random. We know the probability. Suppose 100 people are there, we know the probability is 1 out of 100. So that is the larger, there is a very thin line, that is the larger head, and simple random sampling is suppose the subhead.
confidence sampling and simple random sampling, can you use together in a
Which
research?
one?
Simple random sampling and confidence sampling, we can
Good
use
question.
together.
Very good question.
Thank
Now,
you, sir.
very good question. Basically, you talked about convenience sampling and simple random sampling. First of all, we'll have to understand the kind of research which we are doing. Suppose you are doing quantitative research, then you cannot use convenience sampling and simple random sampling together. Why? Because the premise of doing quantitative research is that your sampling design has to be a probability sampling design. And what is convenience sampling? It is a non-probability sampling design. But suppose your research method is mixed method. Okay. Your research method is mixed method. Then you can go ahead and for the quantitative part, you can go ahead with simple random sampling. And for the qualitative part, for example, there are certain research participants which are very difficult for you to connect. So I'll try to give you an example of this kind of a research. You all have heard about rag pickers, right? Rag pickers are those basically children who go to the dump sites, who pick, for example, waste and all. Now, for rag pickers, the children, you will never specifically get a list of all the children who are working, right? So what you are going to do? You are going to go ahead with convenience sampling. Okay? You are going to go ahead with convenience sampling. But at the same time, you're also choosing in part of your sample, you're also choosing as key informants some doctors, some health professionals who are giving you a basic view about why do these rag pickers face certain health issues. That you can go through simple random sampling. But please remember that if your research method is not mixed method, if it is quantitative research pure or qualitative research pure, then you never use convenience sampling and simple random sampling together. You never use non-probability sampling and probability sampling together. Get it?
Oh, sir, my research topic is guest satisfaction at homestay. So
your research topic is
guest satisfaction at homestay.
Oh, nice. Guest satisfaction. This is nice.
Homestay. So I can I use together for simple random sampling and continuous sampling?
I first want to know that you want to understand guest satisfaction. Are you using any scale to understand guest satisfaction? What are the tools which you are using? Are you using, because suppose if I am a guest, okay, I am a guest in a homestay and you come and you ask me, how are you feeling in this homestay? Or what all you liked in this homestay? How was your experience in this homestay? Then I will not suggest you to use both these together because I am basically giving my qualitative experiences to you. So I will tell you to go ahead with convenience sampling.
So I can't do factor analysis, correlation, regression, descriptive statistics type of things, statistical technique.
No, you can do it. Obviously, you can do it. But basically, you have to understand what your research method is. So suppose you will get a lot of answers when we'll go ahead with this workshop, because people are actually have taken topic, resource persons have actually taken topic about regression analysis, about correlation, everything. You can do it. But then suppose if, like I said, we have to understand the basic. The basic is very clear that if you're doing quantitative research and you want to apply all these, basically you want to apply correlation, you want to apply statistical analysis, regression analysis, then go ahead with simple random sampling. Please don't go ahead with convenience sampling. Then make your tool structured, go ahead with simple random sampling. So suppose, how do you, for example, how do you select your, for example, I will say homestays. Make a list of all the homestays in the region, put them into chits, put them in a jar, pick 10 chits out, pick 20 chits out. This will give what will this do? I actually want to ask you all a question, why I am basically specifying on this, that you should go through this process. Because in quantitative research, I talked so many times about validity. Validity is what is very important in quantitative research. In qualitative research, what is more important is reliability, replicability. But in quantitative research, validity is very important. So now when you have taken that jar, you have put all the names, nobody can tell you that your guest satisfaction level is coming high because you have introduced guests only from the best of resorts. Nobody can tell you that. No subjectivity has come in your research. You did a simple random sampling, you collected names from the jar. Might be someone is a 5-star, someone is a 3-star, someone is an Airbnb, someone is run by a local person. It is like that.
Sir, in questionnaire, there is some subjective type questions.
Can we
Hello?
have questions from other people also, please?
No, just one more question.
Yes.
So in my questionnaire, there is the subjective type questions, 2, 3.
I got it. I understand. You're talking specifically about your research. This is what I'm trying to. Why did I basically prepared one more slide for you all? Because the topic was introduction to quantitative research. But why did I want to tell you all the differences between quantitative and qualitative? So that we immediately understand the type of research which we are going through. So your questions are subjective, your questions are in depth. You are going through qualitative research. When you go through qualitative research, you do not put other things. You never put correlation. You never put, for example, statistical analysis in qualitative research. Those are unique. So what are the tools for qualitative research? I'll tell you. Those are, see, what is correlation? Kind of how are we analyzing our data, right? What is statistical? In qualitative research, you will have other tools, for example, narrative analysis, for example, content analysis. So do that.
Yes. No, I said that in my questions, there is 2, 3 more the broad type questions, subjective questions. So all the questions are quantitative, while only 2, 3 questions are subjective. So can I, so it will be mixed method or it will be only quantitative?
It will be mixed method.
It will be mixed method. Yes,
Yes.
sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Welcome.
Yes, sir. Nirbhay Kumar, sir, you can ask your doubt, sir. Nirbhay Kumar, sir, you
Sir,
can ask your doubt.
I have a doubt. Like, can a causal comparative research give the result of correlation research? Like, if I am checking any hypothesis and then there I found that there is a relationship, then I can say that the casual comparative research is giving the result as correlation research. Is it possible, sir?
Yes. It is possible. It is possible. That happens.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Yes, sir. Isam, sir, you can ask your doubt, sir. Last 5 minutes because we have to go for another resource person.
Sir, can you please explain systematic sampling and action research just once again?
Okay, you want me to explain systematic sampling? Okay.
And action research. I couldn't catch what
No
you said.
problem, no problem. So basically, first of all, systematic sampling is also a kind of random sampling. But what we do in systematic sampling, you can see that we take every kth or nth element. So it is very simple. Suppose my population size is 1000. Okay, population size is 1000. But from those 1000 people, I have to take 100 people. Okay. So what we'll do, I will divide 1000 by 100. Now, what is the number which is coming to me? 10, right? Now, every 10%, because I don't know, just like in the case of jar, see, understand, I again give you the same example. You have 295 participants, right? I don't know which of the participant is sitting at which number, right? So even if I had your 295 names in a jar and I would have taken out, that would have also been random sampling because the probability of selection is the same. Similarly, now I call out, suppose I give you all numbers right now, 295, and I call out every fifth person. Fifth person come, 10% come, 15% come, 20% come. Still, the chances of selection are the same because I don't know who is at the nth number. So when I select every 10th person, okay, from a list of 1,000 persons, instead of picking them from a jar, that becomes systematic sampling. And the other thing which you asked about is action research. Basically, action research is simple. While conducting our research, we are also planning an intervention. Okay, so that is why it is used by administrators, teachers. So for example, suppose I am conducting a research, I am trying to understand the learning levels of students. Okay, and what is my action in that? To a control group, I am giving a bridge learning class, suppose tuition class of 2 hours every day, and to one control group, I am not giving. So through the control group to which I am giving 2 hours class, basically, I am planning an intervention with them. And suppose when their learning levels comes higher, I understand that it has to be generalized to the whole school population. That's it.
Thank you so much.
Sir, myself Archana Nihare. Sir, I want to know, are descriptive and narrative method both are same, sir?
No. Descriptive method and narrative method, both are not same. Basically, narrative method is qualitative. Okay, so you are collecting the narratives of people. Descriptive is a research design. Okay, so we are trying to understand the characteristics of a phenomena. Suppose crime, we are trying to understand the characteristics, that why does crime take place? Sociological factors, psychological factors. What is narrative? Would be that you, for example, go to research in a prison and you understand the narratives. Now, narratives will be unique. Somebody can have family reasons, somebody can have aggressive behavior. But when we talk about descriptive, you will come with psychological factors, genetic factors, sociological factors, biological factors, like that. So they are not the same, they're different.
Sir, thank you, sir.
Sir, what should be the size of an ideal sample?
See, basically, this depends on the population also. So there is no specific ideal sample, but usually, for example, if you are doing a PhD research, your supervisor might tell you to go with 10%, to go with 20%. But nobody can actually put a number on it, that what is the ideal sample. So for example, suppose I was doing a research on air hostesses in Delhi NCR, and mine was a qualitative research. So even in a sample of 50 air hostesses, I got very rich data. But the important thing which I can answer you about your question is that the ideal sample is when the data starts getting saturated. You understand what saturation is? That
Yes,
same
sir.
data starts coming in again and again. So now you understand that, okay, my data is saturated, so I can stop here. But there is no specific number.
Okay, sir. Sir, is it same for quantitative as well as qualitative research?
No. Qualitative, because the sample does not have to be representative. There is no point of 10%, 20%. Qualitative can even in one sample size, qualitative research can take place. It depends on the type of research.
Yes, sir. Sir, if I'm not wrong, saturation is generally used in qualitative research, I guess.
Yes. That's true. Saturation is used in qualitative research.
Okay, so for quantitative, it is 10% or saturation.
Or 20%. Yeah, as said, 10 or 20% you can take, but there is no point of putting a number on it.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I have a question. My research is quantitative, but I want to have qualitative also. So, is it mandatory to have both, or we can have only quantitative or pure qualitative?
No, there is no mandatory as such to have both. It depends entirely on the researcher. You can just have quantitative or you can just have qualitative. Depends on the type of research you are conducting. Nothing mandatory.
So I have a quantitative, so I need to add one more objective for qualitative. Sorry, I have a qualitative. If I want qualitative, then I have to add one more objective, is it?
Basically, you'll have to use a mixed method then. If we are using two type of methods, then it becomes mixed method. So you can add one more qualitative objective, call it mixed method research.
Okay. Oh, thank you. And how will I find out saturation point? You mentioned somewhere I could not catch
Saturation,
that point.
basically, I'll tell you. How do you find saturation? Suppose I conduct a research on working women on the types of problems they face at workplace. So let's see 4 or 5 problems. One can be long travel, one can be workplace harassment, one can be work-life balance. Now, when you'll start collecting data, you will realize that maybe after talking to 20 women, 30 women, 100 women, 150 women, you come to the point that there is no other variable which is coming out now. So maybe the first woman has talked about workplace harassment, 15 talked about workplace harassment, 38 also talked about. So that part is saturated now. Nothing new is coming out of the data. That is where you understand saturation has come.
Okay.
Okay, sir. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for your beautiful presentation, sir. Dear
यही बात है ना
participants, we have one more.
जैसे हमारे हम बोलते हैं कि पंजाबी में बोलते हैं कि बेसिक नीड है रोटी कपड़ा मकान वो JNK में कंप्लीट है सभी के पास
I think somebody's
वो JNK में तो सभी के पास
I think
Yes.
somebody's mic is, so you can
Hello,
say.
Yes.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir,
So
can
thank you
I?
so much, sir. So thank you
Most
so much
welcome.
for the good presentation, sir.
Most
Without taking much time, let me invite Shubharani ma'am to welcome the second resource person for the day.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Mr. J.B.
थैंक यू सर
J.B. Moody is currently pursuing his Doctor of Philosophy, PhD in the Department of Sociology and Social Work, Annamalai University, Chittambaram, Tamil Nadu. He has been associated with Annamalai University for a long time, having completed both his undergraduate and postgraduate degrees in the sociology from the same institution. With a strong academic foundation, he has also enriched his qualification by completing a postgraduate diploma in human resource management from Indira Gandhi National Open University, IGNOU. Mr. Chanbi Mutu is actively engaged in the academic research and his contribute to the field of sociology through and presentation. Author and co-author has research papers, national and international conference, which have provided him with opportunity to interact with scholars, exchange ideas, and broaden his academic perspectives. His research involvement reflects his commitment to the advising sociological knowledge, particularly in the field areas related to industry and research practices. His primary areas of specialization are industrial sociology and research methodology. Though his doctoral research he seeks to explore critical dimension of industrial relations, workforce dynamic, and organization structure alongside developing and applying advanced methodological approach to the social research. His academic journey demonstrates a strong balance between theoretical insight and practical applications. Mr. J.B. Muti aspires to contribute meaningful to the discipline of sociology by integrating his teaching academic with patient and dissemination of knowledge. He called as a researcher and scholar work towards proceeding impactful contribution to the field. Today, sir will talk about the topic theoretical perspective related to the qualitative research. Over to you, sir. Welcome, sir.
Good. Thank you, ma'am. Good evening to all. I'm very happy to present this theoretical perspective on research methodology in front of you all. And I'm very happy that my supervisor, Dr. P. Vinayagamurthy, is also present, is being in this thing. Let's start. We are not having a time, so we'll start into the. Just a second, I will just update the.
Excuse me, sir, you are not completely audible. Your voice is
Now
jumping.
it's audible.
Yes,
Hello?
you are completely audible. It
Okay,
is completely
thank you, sir.
audible.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Just wait. I'm just going to upload this PPT. Just a second, sir. Hello. Hello. So PPT is
Hello,
available.
sir.
It's available. It's shown.
Audible, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yes. Okay. Good evening to all. Today I'm going to present this theoretical perspective on research methodology.
Okay, sir. Very good.
Good evening, sir. Before going into the theoretical perspective on research methodology, let's know that why theory is important to
Excuse
know.
me, sir. Again the same problem.
So just a second.
Hope you are using the headphone. Kindly remove the headphone and talk now because your voice is completely not audible. We are not
Okay, sir.
able to
Okay,
hear
sir.
you.
Okay, sir. Sorry.
To our end, it is
Now it is
sir.
audible. So now it is audible clearly.
Yes.
Yes, it is
sir.
fine.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Because no people
Sorry.
from northern parts they will be having a low connectivity. If the voice is low, less, no, they may not be able to listen anything. That is the only thing. So
Okay,
requesting
sir.
you to speak.
Okay, sir.
Fine.
Thank you, sir. Sorry for the interruption. Sorry. Before going into the theoretical thing, before going into the theoretical perspective on research methodology, let's know why theory is important to know. Whenever we are going to study, whenever going to write the paper or we are going to study any concepts, our mentor or our professors are insisting us to study theories. Why? Because a theory is your guide map. It organizes facts and steps, explains how the pieces is fit or do not, and tells you what to do next. Because a theory, it discovers by a proper systematic scientific research and it grows in the criticism. So it is going to have a lot of multi-dimensional perspective on it. When you are going to compare your concept or compare your thing into a research theory, you are going to ultimately going to have a multiple perspective on it, and it's very easy to you understand in the many things. So if you know the theories in research, how it is going to help you, and what are the things you are going to get from there, it will help to reveal the paradigm shift. Like the major paradigm research are positivism, post-positivism, interpretativism, like the things are there. Later we will see what is meant by paradigm shift and what is post-positivism, positivism also. It will help to choose which is right thing for our research. And next, it helps to prevent the mismatch. It will avoid the contradictory the studies, the theoretical stance you are having. And it will help to guide the approach selection. Today we are having this quantitative research for methodology for 10 days of workshop. It is an approach. We are having this approach like that. We are having qualitative and mixed method approaches. So which approach is going to be perfectly is going to fit for you? We can able to know when you are going to know the theory and ensure the contextual fit. Uh, let's start with Aristotle's. Why we are going back to Aristotle? Because why we are not going before than Aristotle? Why we are starting with him? We can say before the Aristotle, Plato or that peoples are talking about proto-deductivism, but he's
Sir,
talking about.
sir,
So,
are you sharing some slides? I cannot see them.
sir, it's visible. Anybody is
Yes, yes, slides
sir?
are visible. Slides
Yes,
are
it
visible.
is visible.
Sir, it's visible.
Okay. Just a second, sir. I will check it.
I got it. I got it now. Thank you.
Slides are visible, beta. You can move forward.
Yes, sir. So we are going to start with Aristotle. Why we are starting with Aristotle? We can start with Plato or Socrates also, but we are starting with Aristotle because that peoples are proto-deductivist. Aristotle is the deductivist. What is meant by proto-deductivist? Proto-deductivist are the peoples who are going to combine the metaphysics with the research. So we can't able to consider them as the proper scientific research methods they are utilizing in their research things. But when we are going to talk about Aristotle, he removed that things and he's only using a logical thinking and demonstrative of study, which is going to be purely a scientific research methodology he used. And in this 1 hour, we are going to know how this methodology develops and what type of methodology we are using now and why we are using these methods. That's what we are going to know in this 1 hour. One main thing in Aristotle, he lived in the century of 385 BCE. On that particular time, there is no specified subjects like sociology, political science, economics, many things. They are going to have a philosophers, and they are not having colleges, institutions. They are going to have a research academy. Like that, Aristotle owns an academy called the Lyceum, the Research Academy, on that time, and he is having a lot of researchers with him, and he developed the methodology, the scientific methodology. And he published literally 400 books, and that 400 books also, it's perfectly written with the proper scientific methodological way. Okay, in this he's a father of a logical thinking, and is equal to the scientific thinking. If you talk about scientific, it's going to start with the logical thinking. When you are going to answer and when you are going to find the things, why it is happening and why it's going to happen, what we need to know about from this, we are going to think in our mind and we are going to synthesize the things and we are going to find the answer. That means you are thinking logically. Aristotle, who he defines that logical thinking in a systematic way. And deductive logism we are using today in our exams like bank exams, in net exams, and UPSCs. In many exams we are using is logical things, and they are asking questions till 2500 years before he starts this, and without any change today we are using it. So next, Aristotle systemized the deductive logic and theory, the demonstrative science of grounded in the first principle. We need to know that Aristotle is saying how to a researcher want to do the research. He is saying that a researcher should starting to find the starting point of a line. If you are going to have any research, any concept, you need to find where to start, and you need to know that, and after you need to say that, yeah, we are going to start from this and we are going to take over our concept, and you need to find it, and after you need to do a demonstration, and after the demonstration you need to give a proper syllogistic inference. That means a logical conclusion you need to provide. That's what Aristotle is mentioning, and he said this is the scientific research methodology. So in methodology, hello, somebody is talking. Okay. He's
Yes,
saying
yes, you
the
can
name,
continue,
the
sir. You
first
can
principle.
continue.
Yes, sir. The Aristotle's first principle, the universal law of all reasoning, he names that as axioms. So he's saying that a researcher should find the axioms, after he need to do the demonstration, and later he need to do the conclusion. That's the thing he's saying in his research. And the main contribution he did is in his theory of causation. Today, in this modern scientific research world, we are using independent and dependent variable, and we can call as cause and effect. Independent variable is going to cause, dependent variable is going to have an effect on it. So on 385 BCE, he write a theory on that, what are the things come under cause and what are the things are going to come under effect. And we are using it now in polished way, in enriched way, we are using in our research. But the seed has been seeded by him only in that time. And the basic of research is classification and categorization. Without classification and categorization, there is no scientific research. So, whenever we are going to have this classification and categorization, Aristotle is going to stand first. How? Because he is a father of zoology by categorizing and classifying the species in this world, like vertebrate, non-vertebrate, herbivorous and omnivorous, like that he classified. Until now we are using it without have change on it. So the scientific research is going to have a classification and categorization, and that is also done by him on the time. If you see his research methodology, the methodological steps he used in his research in 385 BCE, he's talking about we need to observe the information from the general observation, and we need to find the axioms. That means the universal first principle. We need to find where it starts, and after we need to define the terms what we are going to do, that is called variables. And after we are going to talk, we are going to do a demonstration. After the demonstration, we are going to have an experience in it. After that experience, we need to conclude it. That is what his research methodology. And the one main thing is what his research methodology, this axiom and this demonstration, till now we are using, but in the different name. It got enriched, but the basic is started from Aristotle's thing. And next, in his point of view, who's the researcher means a researcher what need to do while he's doing research. He's saying a researcher need to think logically, and he need to provide the facts to justify his concept. Facts is more important. For him, fact is called demonstration. Logical thinking is called analyzing the things. In the introduction part, while we are going to write the research papers. And next, we are going to see Ibn al-Haytham. So, okay, who is Ibn al-Haytham? He is a person who did a research on intermission theory of vision. He is doing research in vision and light. We are not going to go into his theory, but we are going to take his methodology part. What he did on the 1021 century, he one of the change. He made a change in methodology by providing a controlled experimental test with measurement and instrument to test his hypothesis. Today we are going to say that it's very normal, but in 1021, it's a game changer in the methodological research things. He used mathematics to justify his hypothesis with the precise answers. That's what he's saying. And he did theories in this. Let me go next, and I will say next we are going to talk about Robert Grosseteste. Who is Robert Grosseteste? He also influenced by Haytham. He also did the research in same light and vision, but he included induction and deduction. He combined these two and he did the research. What is induction and deduction? It's called analysis and synthesis. What is analysis and synthesis? It's very simple. You see his methodological part, he is very clearly saying that observation, the general observation we are going to do. In that, we are going to analyze the parts and we are going to make a mathematical prediction on it. We are going to use mathematics and we are going to analyze it. And we are going to test and we are going to compare. And we are going to repeat it and we are going to report it. So, the thing is what? He is going to I can't able to reduce this zoom size. Some person is messaging. I think so. It's perfect for me. I need to change in your thing, in your device only. You can reduce that, ma'am. So, okay. The analysis and synthesize. The analysis and synthesize. He is mentioning that a researcher should do in his research. It's going beyond the screen. I'm sorry, ma'am. Bennett, sir. Okay. Let's be going to this.
Yes,
Robert
it is fine for us. It is fine for us.
It's fine for us. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it is fine, sir. Yes.
This analysis and synthesis, whenever we are using in research, where we are going to use in research. Many people are going to ask, he introduced in the research and where we are using it. Practically, if I want to say in introduction part, we are going to have a variables, independent and dependent variables. We are going to mention it and we are going to analyze it, like which is what we are trying to say with that. What is the cause and effect between them? And we are going to did the statistical test to test everything in the discussion part. We are going to synthesize the things and we are going to finish it. And this step has been introduced by Robert Grostowski on the time. And the more important thing he did is he's saying that mathematics is the language of nature. In Grostowski's point of view, and like Haytham and Galileo, and we are talking about these peoples are going to use mathematics as the language. They are saying that if you are not able to know the language as the mathematics, you can't able to do the research in scientific nature of science. So nature physics, you can't able to do any research. That's what their stand. And he's also saying the same thing. Without numbers, ratios, geometry, we can't truly understand the light, motion, and rainbow. That means they are saying in that time, if you want to do any research in science, you need to know the mathematics as a language. Otherwise, you can't able to do. That's what they are saying in the time. And the basic thing he's saying, what he's saying about, we want to take the things from him in methodology is that analysis and synthesis. We need to do analysis and synthesize the answers, and we need to conclude the thing. That thing has been introduced and developed by Grostowski. And next, we are going to talk about Roger Bacon. Who is Roger Bacon? Roger Bacon is the student of Grostowski. So, Roger Bacon is talking about what? He also contribute a lot to the research methodology. He founded the Scientia Experimentalis. What he is saying in Scientia Experimentalis? In his book of Opus Amuse in 1267, 1267, he's saying that Max philosophy or the opinion of the research. But when we are going to use, just a second, he's saying that philosophy, max, and logics should propose the truths, but only experiment and observation should confirm them. He's saying directly, philosophy, max, and logical thinkings are going to show this is right or wrong, is going to give options, but observation and experiment is only going to give a confirmation that is right or wrong. That is what said by him, and that is what he's saying in his research, Scientia Experimentalis. And he's using cyclical research called observation, hypothesis, experiment, independent variation as the repeatable procedure. And he made another one important thing in methodology, that is he's going to do a reproducibility standards. He's going to say about the reproducibility standards. That means if tomorrow the consistency need to be in the result, if I'm doing on result with the same variable, if tomorrow another one person is going to do the research, he also want to get the same answer, but little difference can be there, but the consistency should be same. Otherwise it is not going to be a perfect research. That's what he's saying. And the one of the most important thing he did in research is that he argues that mathematics turns the observation into a precise and falsifiable predictions clearly enough to test and try to break and then refine it. For example, I can say one thing. What is the difference he's saying in mathematics? He's saying mathematics is a magical tool to test the hypothesis or test the prediction what we had. Other than it's not a language to learn. If I give an example, it will help you to understand very easily. We need to make our own biryani. The biryani need to be tasty. Okay. If you go to this Grostowski and Haytham and Galileo, these people are going to say that you need to be a chef. If you are not a chef, you can't able to make a tasty biryani. But in Roger Bacon is saying that no, if you know the measurements how much of rice, water, chicken, masalas it's needed. That is, if you know that things, you can make a biryani tasty. So this particular concept we are using in nowadays research. How we are using in nowadays research? We are using significance, correlation, regression. We don't want to know full statistics to test our hypothesis. We need to know only the significance level what we are using and the mean deviations to understand about our variables, how they are responding. So his concept we are using until now in a very better manner. So his methodology helped us until now in this century also. And next, the most important person is a Francis Bacon. Who is Francis Bacon? You know, the surprisingly in 1620, in 16th century, he made a methodology, and that methodology we are using now in the scientific method, and that methodology is we are calling as the Bacon's methodology only. In Novum Organum in 1620, Bacon replaced the axiom driving deduction with the structure induction, an evidence first method that moves from a systematic observation to general laws. Like deductive means everybody knows that it's from a general to specific. He's saying that we need to go from specific to general, but the idea is going to taken from Aristotle only. And the Bacon's method is a proto-modern because it makes inquiry empirical, systematic, testable, self-correcting, and collective. The core tries of modern scientific methodology. In later modern methodology, added a statistics, experimental design, casual inference, measurements, theory and meta-analysis, and open ethical, reproducible things and everything. So Bacon set the program and we enrich it and we are using now. Why Bacon said the things? Everybody is having a methodology part. Before we seen for Aristotle and everybody is having methodology. But why we are peculiarly taking his methodology? That is matters. In this, you see, he used a tables in third method, tables of discovery. He is using a tables to reduce the bias. And he is using analysis and he record the data and he experiment it. So he's talking about bias with reducing the tables. Now we are using that, and this method is consist of statistics and empirical and testable and self-correcting things. This all qualities are there in his methodology, and we are adapting this, and today we are using in our modern scientific research methods. And we are going to see Isaac Newton. If you go to talk about the physics without Isaac Newton, we can't able to leave it, but he came to methodology also. What he did in methodology, in research methodology, he did lot. Newton achievement in Principia Mathematica in 1687, revelatory physics, and we can say directly to that. He combined that induction and deduction. I don't want to read and I don't want to waste the time. I will directly explain the things. He talking about the induction and he combined induction and deduction, analysis and synthesis. You see, in 16th century, that thing happened in 1000th century. Till now, the induction deduction is traveling till now. And this induction and deduction he combined and he argued the scientist should derive a law from phenomena and then use those laws to deduce the new predictions. What he's saying, derive a law from phenomena. What the law? First of all, we need to understand what does mean by law. Many people are going to say we are studying law, like Einstein law E is equal to mc square. What does mean by E is equal to mc square? Einstein is saying it's a law. And Isaac Newton is saying that we need to take the predictions by the understanding of law, by the drive of law. What is law? Law means is nothing but when you are going to the particular thing which is not going to affect by any geographical time or any variable it don't want to affect, and we can consider that this is law. If I say one example, it will help you to understand what is meant by law and what is meant by theory and what is meant by concept. We can take a law of Einstein's E is equal to mc square. What does mean by E is equal to mc square? Energy is equal to mass into velocity. What does mean by that? When mass is 1 to velocity, it need to move one place to another place, A to B, it need energy to travel here to there, one point to another point. Without energy, it can't move. That is what E is equal to mc square. And this E is equal to mc square, it's going to applicable all over the world. If you go anywhere, it is going to be applicable. It's not going to be affected by anything. So this is considered as law. What is meant by theory? Theory is going to have a criticism. Like you're having a concept, and your concept it going to accepted by lot of academicians, and it going to be criticized by also some of academicians. That means it's called a theory. When the theory is not able to get into a criticism, it is a law. So Einstein is saying what? You need to deduce the prediction through a law from the phenomena. That's what he's saying. And in the principle of Newton articulate the Newton's rule of reasoning. In this, he is talking about reasoning, rules of reasoning. He is mentioning for the scientific research. And in this, you see the first he explains the things with no more cost than you need to keep the story simple and based on evidence. It will be help while we are writing the research. See, explain the things with no more cost. Then you need keep the story simple and based on evidence. When you are not able to explain the cause very detailedly, you need to focus on your evidence and you need to write your research. That's what he's saying. And second, when the different effects looks the same, is try to explain them with the exact cause instead of inventing a new one each time. He's saying that just explain the cause. Don't go for the new one again and again. If you're trying to keep the things a new, it's going to come. But please try to explain the cause. That's what he's saying. And third, he's saying if a quality of matters appears everywhere, we can test it and treat it as the universal property and last for now. That means what? He's talking about reliability. When you are going to make a particular concept, it need to have a reliability and it need to be surveyed. That's what he's saying. And fourth thing he's talking about, don't make a bias. When the result is coming, which is not according to you, but peculiarly, don't make any changes forcefully in it. It will going to change your things. That's what he's saying in it. And the main thing, he's declaring that hypothesis non-figo. I frame no hypothesis in his research. That means what? He's opposing to hypothesis? No, he is not opposing to hypothesis. He is saying that when he is presenting his gravity newly to everyone, to the world, is discovering the gravity to the world, and the time many academicians are asking a question to him. So, okay, you are just saying gravity is there, but what is the mechanism behind the gravity? You are not explaining that. So, on the time, Newton saying that I frame no hypothesis. I am not framing no hypothesis. So, I don't want to give explanation for that. That means he's saying that you can frame a hypothesis if you can able to be test. If you can't able to test that, you don't want to frame the hypothesis. That is what he's
Sir,
saying.
the voice is not audible, sir.
Now it's not audible. Hello? Sir?
Yes,
It's audible?
It is audible.
It's
Ah,
fine,
okay, sir.
fine.
It's
It's
Fine?
audible.
Okay. Okay, sir. So he's saying that when you are not able to test your hypothesis, like with your variables are not able to test properly, don't use that as the hypothesis. So frame the hypothesis which need to be testable in a proper way. That means only you need to frame. For sake of framing the hypothesis, we don't want to frame any hypothesis. Okay. And next, we are going to talk about the enlightenment of empiricism. In 17th and 18th century, many scholars, many of them are thinking that there is, like David Hume, like thinkers are thinking that there is a problem in induction. There is a problem in induction. What the problem they find in induction? I will say one example. It's very easy to understand. The Apple's founder, his name is Steve Jobs. The Apple founder Steve Jobs, you see him in all the videos, all the functions out of the Apple product launch and everywhere. He's going to wear a dark blue shirt with a gray pant, with a black belt, with a black shoe. This dress code is going to be there. Everywhere he's going to wear that. That means we can say Apple founder is going to wear only this code of dress. That is what the problem of induction is having, because if you see, go back through the induction of research, they are going to do the repeated loop thing is going to be there. They are going to do a replicate. They are going to do it again. And you see, Grosseteste also going to do it again. They are going to do it again and again and again. And if they got the same answer, they are going to prove that scientifically right. That is called induction research. This is the problem of induction research. So this particular problem, it is not true, because Apple founder can wear anything, any dress he can wear. But this induction is going to say what? No, he is wearing the dress. That means he can't wear anything. But there is a reason behind why he is wearing it. Well, it is not going to argue it. So these people find this is the issue. So on the time, the enlightenment of empiricism is emerged, and it gives the answer for that. Okay, what does mean by enlightenment of empiricism at this particular 17th and 18th century? It is nothing but we are going to only do a scientific research which is going to be empirically available. Like we can say, we can able to sense by our sense. We can sensory organs. If you can't do that, and it is called it is not going to be a scientific research. So this particular empiricism is adapted from the concept of Auguste Comte, the father of sociology. In his theory of positivism, he is saying theological, metaphysical, and positivism. The last stage of positivism is the scientific stage. And he's saying that the empiricism is emerged there. And when we are going to have a quantifying things, that means only we can able to do a quantitative research. Otherwise, we can't able to do it. That's what he's trying to say. So, okay, sir. And this is enough. Empiricism is finished with that. No. The important thing happened in this research. It happened now. It is paradigm of research has emerged in this particular 18th century when they find the problem of induction, and that time only we got the paradigm of research. And what does mean by paradigm of research? Today we are using research, we are writing research papers. We are doing in post-positivism or positivism. Maximum we are doing in post-positivism. We are not doing in positivist also. What does mean by paradigm, sir? Why we are calling it as a paradigm of research? Before that, they are using theories. They also did research. They also did in quantitative research. But we are calling this a scientific research. Why we are calling this as a paradigm? Because old research, we are having lot of questions. That questions are not able to be answerable. But in the paradigm of research means it's our concept, techniques which we are going to use into the research methodology. It's going to give an answer for ontology, epistemology, methodology, axiology, and explainers. So the techniques, we call it is a paradigm rather than just a theory of a method, because paradigm is going to consist of multiple theories and techniques together in it to conduct a research. That means what? We are going to have a doubt in paradigm till now. See, we are having introduction, review of literature, research methodology, data interpretation, discussion, and conclusion, and reference. This is the structure we are using. In the structure, we are going to use introduction. It's going to consist of one theoretical part. It's going to consist of one techniques. And we are going to have a review of literature. It is one type of technique. We are going to use it and we are going to explain our theories in there. And research methodology, it's going to consist of multiple techniques in it. It's not going to consist of single technique. And discussion and ethical consideration for tools. That is also one of the main technique we are using. And that is also going to consist of a lot of theories in it. How to frame a questionnaire. That is one of the important thing in now in this particular century. And reference, when we are going to use the reference, we are going to have a multiple reference in it, multiple designs of reference, and which technique of reference we need to use. Many things are there. So you see, for writing a single research, we are having multiple techniques, multiple theories, and combinedly together. And that combining together is going to answer for ontology, epistemology, methodology, axiology, and explainers. So that's the reason we are calling this as the paradigm of research methodology. So what are the major research paradigms? This positivism, post-positivism, constructivist, critical, pragmatism, mixed method, and extra many things are there. And these are come under the paradigm of research, because each research techniques are going to have a multiple research techniques within to answer the upcoming ontology, epistemology, methodological things. Okay, and now we are going to talk only about, because this is a quantitative research workshop we are having, so we will go only to positivism and post-positivism. Interpretatism is the Max Weber's concept. Is purely qualitative. We don't want to go into that. We will be in this positivism and post-positivism. Okay, so today we are talking about positivism and post-positivism. What does mean by positivism? What does mean by post-positivism? Positivism is called empiricism, which is directly concept has been adapted from the Auguste Comte of positivism, and we are going to use in it. And here I want to say one thing very clearly. In positivism, we are going to use only objective to find the scientific methodology, scientific research. We are going to use only objective. And in post-positivism, we are going to use objective as well as a subjective. So post-positivism also come under quantitative research only, because it's combined of two things, qualitative and a quantitative. Okay, so it is going to consider of subjectivity. Like before, Rahul sir is also explaining the things of what is positivism, what is post-positivism. He is explained in the name of quantitative and qualitative. But when it's going to paradigm, you see very clearly positivism is only going to deal with quantitative, but post-positivism is going to deal with quantitative as well as a qualitative. Last we will give example, you will understand very clearly what does mean by subjective, what does mean by objective. See, you are living in the forest. You are having a house inside the forest, and some peoples are coming and they are using a saw machine and they are cutting the trees in front of your eyes. So you can find how many trees are cutting down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 trees they cut down. How you are saying 10 trees they cut down? Because you are seeing from your eyes and you are able to countable and sense. You sensed that okay, they are cutting. Sound here, you can touch it and you can feel it. But that is going to come under positivism. That's going to be quantitative research. But when the same house is there, but half a kilometer or 1 kilometer away from your home, some people are using a saw machine to cut the trees, and you are going to think that yeah, they are cutting the tree. How you didn't saw? You are not able to say that they're cutting the tree. How you are saying they're cutting the tree? By hearing the sound and the vibration of the, when the wood is going to fall down, the vibration, the birds are going to fly very high, and you are hearing the saw sound. You are going to imagine they are cutting the tree. And how you can confirm that? Because you are having a past experience. By your experience, you are saying that they are cutting the tree. When you are going to qualify, when you are going to measure your experience, that is called a qualitative research in the subjective manner. So objective means what? It's about empirical thing. Subjective means what? It's about the experience what you got, and by that how you are expressing and what you are saying. That's what in the objective and subjective. Okay, so next we are going to talk about in the post-positivism. We are having main two concepts, models of post-positivism. What you're saying, sir, you're talking about paradigm. Okay, under the paradigm you are saying positivism, post-positivism, constructivism is okay, but what are the models? This is, we are talking about models. What are these models? These models are we are using, like these models are going to have some theoretical input which has been designed by the authors. So what are things? The Karl Popper falsification theory and Thomas Kuhn's paradigm shift. These two things are more important. Why? We will, because why I'm taking these two people's peculiarly, we are using these two people's concept majorly in the modern research. Otherwise, what they are using, the Karl Popper's falsification theory. What does mean by that? You need to frame a hypothesis. Whenever we are going to do the research, you see introduction, review of literature. In the review of literature or before that, you are going to use a theory to explain it. But the Karl-Popper's theory is talking about what? It's talking about we need to make a falsifiable hypothesis. What does mean by why he's trying to make a falsifiable hypothesis to us? He's saying that you need to frame a falsifiable hypothesis. In future, if your phenomena, if your variable, it's changed, the future phenomena, the future time, your variables has changed means your hypothesis need to be get false. Otherwise, it is not going to be proper scientific research. That's what he stands in his theory. So I can able to understand. I will say one example to you. Today we are having there a lot of industries are there. Like one chemical industry is there nearby, one village is there. Due to the chemical industry, the water has been contaminated a lot. Due to the contamination, the peoples are living near to that area, near to the industry. They are facing a lot of health issues. When they are facing that health issues, you are going to make a research on it, and you are going to say, because of the industry, they are having this issue, and many people are dying. They are having some cancers and disability. People are getting born in there. So it is the issue. It's happening due to the industrial waste. That's what we are trying to say in that. But tomorrow, later, 10 years later, that industry is coming under the regulations, and they are filtering their wastage, and they are change the total decomposing system, like waste management they are doing, and the village people also not using the water that much. They are using RO system to purify it, and everything has happened. The phenomena which I frame a hypothesis changed, and my variables are going to be get falsifiable there. So we need to consider this thing in our mind, and we need to use a falsifiable hypothesis, and that means only it is called a proper research methodology according to Karl Popper. Now we are going to talk about Thomas Kuhn. What about Thomas Kuhn? This is one of the most modernized and most important theoretical model. What Thomas Kuhn did? Thomas Kuhn is talking about paradigm shift. Just before we know what is meant by paradigm. So Thomas Kuhn is saying that pre-paradigmic phase. The pre-paradigmic phase means now the research what we are doing in the paradigm. This is called the pre-paradigmic phase. In this pre-paradigmic phase, some flows are there, some faults are there. Like what? He's saying that, like we can take an example of Corona. When Corona comes, America, Russia, India, every country make their own dose, like vaccination they made. But how they made? They are every time if America made a vaccination, India is going to make. India is not going to start with America's thing. India is going to start from the scratch. From the scrap, India is going to start again, and they are going to make one dose like a vaccination. So this like things are going to happen means it's going to take a lot of time consume, and new idea will not come. The new revelatory thing is not going to happen. The same thing is going to happen in a different review researchers. And he's saying, Thomas Kuhn is saying that normal science, in his thing, in his point of view, he's talking about a normal science. What does mean by normal science? He's saying that we need to have a research group, and in that group we need to have a lot of researchers and academicians, and they need to do a research, and they need to find a solution for that. What you are saying, sir, I can't able to understand. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit confusing. I will say an example. Today we are seeing Marvel movies, Avengers and everything. You know, they are going to have a VFX team. They are going to do a research how they want. They are going to imagine, and they are going to give this research like VFX things to multiple VFX teams. The single concept they are going to give for multiple VFX teams, and that team is going to do the same thing. Everybody is going to do the same project, but at a time they will do. They are going to have a team coordination. They are going to have everything. Finally, they are going to get the result, and that result is going to be more valuable than the other things. Like one person going to do that with the things, it's going to be more valuable than that. So he's saying that when that time a researchers of group is going to find a crisis in the research designs. What is the crisis they are going to have when they want to find a solution, but they can't able to find because the technique is not going to be suit for the things. So they are going to have some crisis on it. Crisis of lack of technique, which is not able to find a new solution for the issue. That is called a crisis period, and he's saying that is the anomaly. And that is the stage where it occurs that researchers are going to adapt the new techniques, or they are going to find the new techniques, and they are going to find a solution for that. That stage is called the alternative paradigm. That is called the paradigm shift is going to happen. That means the previous techniques and theories which they are using, which is not going to be applicable for the current issue, for that they are going to make a new techniques to find the solution for that. So we are saying that, okay, it's a little bit confusing. If I give an example, it will very clear. We are using Google Chrome. Past many years, we are using this Google Chrome. This Google Chrome is going to search, like we are going to type what we can search, and we can get gather the informations. Simply we can do that. For that, some research groups are there. They did the research and they did everything properly, and it's going fine. One time some crisis came. Researchers are difficult to do research, but they need a multiple source with authentically it need to come and need to particularly from that particular source, don't want anything extra from what they want. So this like issues are happening. This issue has been resolved by AI, OpenAI, like that we are using. This OpenAI mechanism is going to use what? It's totally different techniques and methods they used to write the codings. It's not going to be same the coding what they used in Google. So the new techniques they adapted the researchers and they made, and they find the solution. And now what we are going for a quantum computing, which is more advanced than that. So in this particular modern era, the research methodology, we are adapting the Thomas Kuhn's model of paradigm shift as the research model, and they are doing their research. And the independent researchers, like we are using Karl Popper's method. So this is what these two people are did, and this is what important. We can recap the things once again. A researcher should have, if you go to Aristotle is saying what? A researcher should have a logical think, and he need to have a fact to justify his concept. And we need to have, Heimatham is saying what? We need to test our hypothesis with a mathematical thing. Grosseteste is saying what? He is saying that we need to analyze and synthesize to write the research. After we are going to come to Einstein, we need to frame a hypothesis in a proper way, and it came to positivism paradigm of research. It's talking about we need to justify ontology, epistemology, methodology, axiology, explainers, and everything to done a proper scientific way of research in this modern world. That's what they are saying. And sir, how it's going to be applicable for my research, sir? Yeah, if you know the theories, if you know these concepts, you know whether you want to use the quantitative or qualitative for your research, and you can know which particular research model, like what structure of research you need to write also you can identify, because each modules and each structure is going to change according to your research problem or research concept. If you want to know that, you need to know these theories. That means only you can able to write that proper way. So I'm just finishing the things, ending up the class. Any questions are there?
Yes. So thank you so much, Mr. Sibi, for the beautiful presentation. Yes, even I have to thank my guide and my faculty, Dr. Vinay Murthy sir from Annamalai University, for giving us great opportunity to involve various things in the path of research. Thank you, sir. And now, dear participants, the group is open for discussion. Those who want to ask your doubts, queries, you are most welcome. As per the schedule, we have entered the session by 8:30. Now it is over to you. If you want to ask your queries, you can ask.
Hello, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you share your PPT to us?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. PPT we have shared in the group, ma'am. PPT we have shared in the group. We will mail you also the PPT as well as the bio note of the resource person.
Okay, thank you for that.
Yeah. Any other queries? Okay. So thank you so much for it is almost 250 participants for more than 2.5 hours. It is a great learning experience. Definitely, I hope that you all will be enjoying today's session. And from tomorrow onwards, we'll be having the session from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. Since today we have an inaugural session, it starts from 6 to 8:30. From tomorrow till 9th day, we'll be start from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. The last day, again 6 o'clock to 8:30. So thank you so much once again. See you all
Thank you very
tomorrow.
much, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
So thank you, sir.
Yes,
Thank you for
I have to
valuable
thank Dr. Shubharani ma'am
time.
also, head of the
Thank you,
department,
sir. Thank you.
Department of Chemistry,
you all.
Standard
Thank you,
College,
sir. Thank you,
for
sir.
taking all the
Very excellent
initiatives.
speech, sir. Sir, very
The
excellent.
discussion is very
Thank you,
nice.
sir. Thank
This,
you.
Thank you very much.
regarding research methodology, it's very nice session, and the PPT was very good. Thank you for your knowledge sharing, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Regarding
sir.
the feedback form,
Thank you so
will
much,
be shared
ma'am.
in the last day.
Thank you
Feedback
so much, sir.
form will
Thank
be
you,
shared in the
ma'am.
last day.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Sure, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, ma'am. It was indeed a very wonderful session and it was very enriching. Thank you for the
Yes,
vivid
yes,
explanations
yes.
and for making everything so clear.
Thank you, Trishala. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm ending the meeting for all.